over the history of cinema. We've seen some of the best VFX.
You look lonely.
And the worst. Bad VFX can turn a great story into a forgettable movie. Whereas great VFX can elevate a good story into a masterpiece.
You shouldn't trust him.
And when it's used correctly,
those aren't mountains.
It can be mind-blowing. I'm going to compare one of the best ever uses of VFX to one of the worst ever uses of VFX and tell you exactly why one works and one doesn't. Let's start with District 9. Now there's a very healthy habit of low-budget movies crafting some of the best VFX we've ever seen. VFX artistry is just that. It's a form of art, and often when resources are minimal or we are faced with challenges in life, we are forced to rise above them. And this gem of a South African movie had just that challenge. Working on a budget of just $13 million, this movie looked gorgeous. At the time of making this video, this movie is nearly 20 years old. Now, if that sounds wild, that's because it is. In this year of 2025, we see the release of Avatar: Fire and Ash, the third part of the multi-billion-dollar Avatar series. And depending on your tastes, you may be inclined to say that District 9 from 2009 looks better than it as far as VFX integration goes, because director Neil Blomkamp went for a more gritty documentary feel for this movie, a raw handheld style. Now, shot on location using real-life slums, the movie has a strong basis to work from when it comes to VFX integration. And this is a great example of how to make CGI look believable. Use as much real footage as you can and simply enhance a scene, or, in the case of District 9, make it look perfect. Let's take a look at this scene. Now, if I was being really cruel, I could say this scene is doing nothing special.
Hey, come on! Hey!
You must bug my arm to the fucking...
A few lines of dialogue.
Yes, you're gonna put your name at the bottom. You're going to another place? A nice new city built especially for prawns?
Handheld camera work.
Okay.
Medium close-ups, wides, cutting back and forth between characters. But this scene is doing so very much. Now, firstly, for us to be fully immersed in the scene and accept the CGI, the layers of the scene itself need to be seamless. And this scene is so layered whilst being watertight. It's worth mentioning two things. The Office...
Okay. You are going to learn to be more professional, Luke!
And the undercurrent of political tones. This movie was made around about the height of the US TV show The Office, and its UK original starring Ricky Gervais. And the style of the movie matches that, the comedy and the camera work. Even the interspersed interviews that connect the story together mimic that style.
They're the same picture.
And then there's the fact that this movie is set in South Africa, a country notorious for its apartheid system in years gone by. This movie is almost mirroring real life as the aliens are segregated and put into District 9. Both of these factors immediately ground this scene and the whole movie, keeping it visceral. And that's why when these elements of CGI are sparsely pushed into the scene, it takes the scene from very good to groundbreaking. Now, none of this is said to give little credit to the VFX team. Weta Digital are the team behind the VFX on the Lord of the Rings series, and they were the magicians behind this movie. And their work, as showcased a few years prior in the Lord of the Rings series, was first rate.
Yes, precious. False. They will cheat you, hurt you, lie.
But they didn't shoot the film. To create this level of brilliance, you need a director who knows exactly what is and isn't possible. The problem with many Marvel movies has been that they shoot footage without always knowing what the end result will be. And then in post-production, they are often forced to fix it with VFX. Which recently has led to huge pushback from the VFX community. But this problem isn't just exclusive to Marvel though. At the end of last year, Ridley Scott's long-term director of photography was very critical of how he's been shooting movies recently, shooting footage randomly without careful planning and relying on VFX to fix literally everything. And typically, that can lead to moments like this and like this. In a world where we want a movie to be as grounded as possible, an old swords and sandals tale set in the 3rd to 5th century, where technology was at its most basic, seeing any sign of CGI totally disconnects you from the movie and, most importantly, the story. But with District 9 director Neil Blomkamp, a South African himself, he had already worked as a VFX artist and 3D animator. He worked on shows like Stargate SG-1 and with companies like The Embassy and Radical Entertainment. He also directed high-end VFX commercials for Citroën and Adidas, where he honed his hyper-real, gritty VFX style.
The environment is 110% real. It's pure Johannesburg. But how are you going to present the visual effects that are computer generated to feel as though the camera recorded them on the day? You build your computer generated aliens and you put them into your real live action background play. You treat the effects no differently to anything else. I think that when you start treating them as though they're visual effects and you put them on a golden kind of pedestal, then they become important, and the way that you think about them, because they cost a lot of money, starts to make them feel synthetic.
Having worked in the VFX field meant that as a director, he could tailor his shots for the exact limitations that the VFX of 2009 could reach. And that's the key word here, limitations. But VFX should be a tool, like an ARRI camera, or DaVinci Resolve for editing, or a boom pole.
Worried about Danny, Mom. What about...
That's a cut.
Sorry, I had to cut. Les, your boom's all over my frame.
Yo, I asked for a frame line.
But limitation is a word that is not respected enough in movie making, and it's the exact word that would solve so many problems. By empowering that word, maybe a studio would realize that you can't quickly remove a man's moustache.
It's meant to. It's...
Or maybe they realize that you can't recreate Nicolas Cage via a computer.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I.
He's just so powerful.
L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
And maybe attempting to de-age a 70-year-old plus actor, it might be best to cast a younger actor. Oh. I mean, really, this is terrible. What is this crap? But in 1997, James Cameron was pushing beyond the idea of limitation. And as he has done since the 80s, he was obliterating the concept of it can't be done. Titanic was a monumental hit and pushed CGI beyond where it had even gone before.
Do not let go of my hand!
But what people don't seem to mention enough is that unlike his recent Avatar movies, with Titanic, he integrated real world with CGI. One, because the story was set in the early 1900s, but two, and most importantly, because he had limitations that he simply could not break past. Recreating a giant boat on a computer for nearly a 3-hour runtime was simply not possible. For budgetary reasons, And, well, Microsoft 97 reasons.
Windows 98! Get Bill Gates in here! You told us Windows 98 would be faster and more efficient with better access to the internet!
It is faster, over 5 million.
But Cameron spun gold from cotton, and the rest is history. Working within, and sometimes just outside his limitations. However, in the same year, another respectful director in Wolfgang Petersen, the man who directed this, and this, unfortunately, didn't respect the boundaries of limitation, and thusly, we have this monstrosity. Now, I really want to defend the VFX team here and say that this is just a product of its time. But having just praised James Cameron for his integration of VFX in the same year, I simply can't. I mean, heck, Terminator 2 was 6 years before this. So, what went wrong here? Because this movie had a budget nearly 3 times as big as District 9 and was made over 10 years before, meaning that the cost was even higher than I just quoted. Now, granted, most of that budget, like 99% of it, probably went on Harrison Ford's wages.
Really said, would you be interested? I said,
how much?
Show me the money.
But this movie had everything in its favor: a world-class director, a world-class cast, and a more than competent VFX team. So what went wrong here? Well, it's clear to see. Firstly, there's something really off about this zoom shot. Now, obviously this actor has been composited into the frame, but his arms look really off. Now, I just saw Fantastic Four. I'm sure that Pedro Pascal is not in this film, but his arms look so stretched. But that's the least of the scene's worries, because from there, the physics of this plane's movement are just so janky. Immediately, we are taken out of the scene by the weight of the plane. And then there's the water phases, which are off too. It acts more like concrete than water. But even putting all that to one side for just a moment, the sprays of water shooting up look so incredibly fake. And if this scene hadn't already topped itself off, well, this moment certainly gave us the grand finish we were definitely expecting. What the f***? Now, the cheap shot here would be to say that this shot looks like it's from a PlayStation 2 cutscene. So I guess I'll take a drink on Black Friday, because I'm going to do a cheap shot. Do you get it? Cheap shot.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
But yes, this is a PlayStation 1 level of VFX. Now, according to Richard Edlund, who was the founder of the chief company behind the VFX, Boss Film Studios, this sequence had major issues. But the main issue was time. They simply ran out of time to get the shot done. Wolfgang Petersen, the movie's director, got so caught up in fixing one VFX shot, he wasn't very happy about the brightness of a tail light on a plane on another shot, that they ran out of time. So yeah, this shot is just so bad, so very, very bad. And we can use excuses like it was 1997 and that they had technological limitations, but for the average Joe flicking on Amazon Prime, picking out an old 90s flick that they haven't seen yet starring Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman, choosing it and seeing this, those excuses don't really matter. It's a trash scene. This scene did everything opposite to what this simple scene in District 9 did, or what James Cameron did in the same year. It didn't integrate real world with VFX.
The ship is gonna suck us down. Take a deep breath when I say.
But maybe this is just a simplification of the truth. Maybe I'm breaking things down a little bit too finitely. Because I stumbled upon this scene the other day and I absolutely loved every second of it.
Does this chattering animal speak for you?
Certainly not. I speak for myself. Trespassing in this city and on this planet.
It means get lost, Squidward.
However, there's a massive difference between the limitations of technical tools and the limitations of the human mind. You see, I can easily immerse myself in a world where wizards, green giants, and Gwyneth Paltrow exist, and things like this happen. Sorry, Gwyneth. Cheap shot. No, I'm not going to do that joke again. I didn't do it again. I didn't do the joke again. Come on, leave me alone.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
More than I can immerse myself into, say, the year 200 AD, where this weird hybrid monkey dog thing lives, and things like this happen. And for further proof, the two best directors in Hollywood right now, Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve, are masters of shooting movies that allow for sparse integration of CGI. Dune 1 and Dune 2 are both masterclass lessons in enhancing moments rather than making the moments the whole shebang. And that's why a scene like this, that was once deemed unfilmable, looks so damn realistic. The key words here are visceral and limitation. Whether it's storytelling or VFX. So what are the best VFX shots you've ever seen, and what are the worst? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see a really cool version of this plane crash, head on over to Eric Does VFX. He fixes it and it looks really good. But before you do, please hit the like button and please subscribe to help the channel grow. Big love, until next time.
Master plan.
To become rich and famous.
You might get there someday. Keep working at it. Thank you all for coming in.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.